Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Network Merchandise Shop. Check out our large assortment of logo merch and our lifestyle collection as well. Just head over to abvnetwork.com and click on shop. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebartogo.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. Finally, we are sponsored by the upcoming ABV Barrel Shop, a new liquor store experience coming to St. Louis, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop will serve as home to the ABV Network and will be owned and operated by Steve Akeley, Jim Fosnot, and Scott Creighton, a.k.a. the Barrel Buddies. To learn more about the investment opportunities in this new venture, listen to the ad at the end of this podcast. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we are completing a bracket challenge to determine which of the featured bourbons for an old-fashioned, for an Uproxx article is the perfect one to actually use. My name is Miss Beka. That was a weird way that you put
it. It was not well written. I'll give you that. It's not good. That one's on me, folks. Not
like that one was not.
She read it for what it was, and it's not good. Yeah,
it wasn't good.
Keep going, though.
Anyways, my name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Cailee Baker, Lucatero, and Evan Van Scoy.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hello.
Hey. We're doing the best we can. We absolutely are. So we've got an interesting show. The best bourbon. Again, this isn't ones that we picked out. This comes out of an Uproxx article. So they do a lot of bourbon stuff and things like that. So check them out. Uproxx, 2 X's, uproxx.com. Check them out. They do a lot of bourbon reporting, and we'll have some fun with that today as we try to pick which is the best one. They say these are the best by bartenders listed, and then we'll pick which is the best of the best. And they had more than I had to take some out. Like I think one of them was like William LaRue Weller. Oh yeah, well I'm sure that would make an exquisite old fashioned. But who's going to use their William LaRue Weller old fashioned? So I did toss them out. This is, I think, the best of the list. So we'll get to that after the break. But as we talk about, mistakes and things like that, the one that kind of angers me is the weather people. Now, locally, we have a weather guy. I don't know if all channels do this, but the one that I watch on a quarterly basis, they'll get together and he'll tell you what the weather's going to be like coming up for the next quarter. And you get suckered into watching these things. It seems like I'm always available when that's on. And then I get drawn in. And he said, December it's going to be just bitterly cold. It's going to be the coldest month of the winter. It won't be as bad after that, but you're going to have to make it through December. And it's literally, I bet you the average temperature in St. Louis has been 60 degrees, daily highs so far. And they said potentially record breaking next week highs. So now we're getting down to maybe unless the last week is just super bitter cold. This is not even true. And why do they even do this? First of all, weather people, they don't have to ever be right. And what I don't like, which is fine. If they get it right, they celebrate it like they've won the Super Bowl. They're like, I told you. Now he won't say anything about this. When he does his next quarterly report, he won't be like, well, I said December would be the coldest. I was totally off. No, it's frustrating to me, but this is an actual real job. I don't know why they have it.
Imagine if you worked a job and everything you did was like you're a meteorologist, right? Like you're an air traffic controller, and you're like, so it looks as though there's no other flights coming in right now.
You're probably fine
all day long. You are fine to fly in, and then they're like, oh shit, there was. So 2 planes crashed. We didn't know. We had no idea. It was kind of there, but we didn't see it exactly. We didn't know how it was going to turn out. We didn't know they'd come down right at that time. My bad.
Yeah.
So in fairness, though, so while I agree with you, is it's quite funny that you can have a job where you're wrong so much of the time.
Correct.
But if I follow this air traffic controller analogy, they actually do make guesses until the planes are actually in the air. So once it's actually happening, they can be accurate, just like the meteorologist is. Once the clouds are actually in the sky that day, now that it's here, we can tell you, because what they're guessing, and it's like 70% accurate 3 days out. And then it's like the day of, they are like 100% accurate because they can walk outside.
Yes. It's another thing. You just use a stick. Is the stick wet?
I'm going to say this though, Evan. For 1 second, my brain went, oh, well, we should just have meteorologists and air traffic controllers switch jobs. And then I thought in my head, no, I fly too much. I'm not trying to die on it. I'm okay if it's colder out than I expected. That's okay. I'll grab a jacket. I'm going to go outside. It's a little bit colder out. If I get on the plane and all of a sudden I hear, hey, this is Jim Perry signing in on, we're going to be getting you guys out on the air today. And then we die? No. Okay. We're not. No. I'm fine with air traffic controllers. Their ratio is much better. So
my mind just flashes back to the one moment from Mean Girls where she's like, there's a 30% chance it's already raining. That's basically what a meteorologist does.
So, Evan, you're a St. Louis guy too. You know, he literally said it's going to be the coldest month. It's going to be bitterly cold. You can testify here. Well, it has not been cold in December. We had a little cold snap of, 3 or 4 days. But other than that, it's been probably unseasonably warm, I'd say.
You know what helps them a little bit? It is cold at night. So like the 12 hours where 8 of those hours we're all asleep. So we're not experiencing the cold, but it is cold out at night. So he's like 50% right. Like it is cold
no.
just while we're asleep.
I think it'll be colder in January at night, in February, because it's going to, I agree when the sun goes down, it's obviously going to be colder at night than it is during the day. That's really some great science, but yeah.
It's been super mild.
It has been very mild. Yeah.
This is not winter yet. We've had maybe one morning of frost.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's it. A frost.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
And it was this morning.
No.
For me, at least. This morning
me.
was the first frosty morning I've seen.
Yeah.
I'll say this: when I flew back from North Dakota, so I got held up flying back because there was a snowstorm up north, and so I stayed an extra day. And we got I think 5 or 6 inches of snow up there, and I got down here and I was like, oh, it's warm, it's beautiful. All right, it's just nice down here. But the next morning I woke up kind of early, and I opened my eyes and I'm like, wait a minute, where am I? Because there was a blanket of snow outside the morning after I got home. It melted pretty quickly, but we got snow that night. It was
in Kentucky?
Yeah, it was just a light frosting of snow, but it was kind of nice.
Those aren't bad when they hit and then go away quick. That's fine. That's the kind of snow. If I have to have snow, I like. So
dusted with powdered sugar.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I'm with Beka. First of all, the air traffic controllers should stay right exactly where they're at.
Right. They're doing a good job.
The weather folks, I've given up on them many, many years ago.
Yeah.
And so I use my little weather bug and that on my app, and that's my deal, because accuracy for me is like any of you who are in logistics, like Beka and Cailee, we pay attention to those things pretty closely. And
yeah,
when you listen to them and they're wrong, I got to tell you, it screws up my whole demeanor for the day and possibly for the week, because, I was expecting a truck, but now it's delayed. So I've given up on them.
They've tried to make weather more important than it is, because it does draw viewers. So if there's something going on, whether it's tornado stuff or potential snow, or people will turn on the news, the weather, because of that. So it makes them important. And I used to work for a grocery chain, and I know for a fact that the CEO of that grocery chain, if it was a winter where they didn't create enough panic for snow coming up, he would say, amp it up. We advertise a lot on your network. Play it up. They're not clearing the shelves. You have that panic that happens when you call for snow. And he would call there and say, we got to have it. We need a snowstorm. You got to have something for me here. We got to move some groceries. Seriously.
Yeah.
We gotta move some groceries.
We got to move some groceries.
We got to move some milk, eggs, and bread.
We got to create. You got to create the panic.
Everybody lives on French toast.
Yes.
Milk, eggs, bread.
Yeah, there you go. All right, it is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Beka tonight. Beka, what do you got there?
I have got some Old Forester single barrel. This is from the Silver Dollar. Let's see, floor 7, warehouse. I don't know who brought this. I'd guess the cap. This didn't come from you, Steve, did it?
No.
I don't think so. I'm thinking maybe the Kaplan's brought it, but it's gonna be. Yeah. I'm gonna be finishing off this bottle possibly tonight.
Okay. Well, nothing there. All right. Next up is Cailee.
So I took my best friend and roommate from college to the football game today, Titans game, and she gifted me with this bottle of Blue Note from BR, right? Yeah, BR Distilling Company. But it's actually hand selected by Wendell Smith Liquors, which is in Nashville. Her family owns the liquor store. Wendell Smith is her great grandfather, and so this is the second bottle of Blue Note that I have that has her great grandfather on the bottle. So,
very cool.
This one's for Jesse. Here we go.
Very good. Very good. Could easily be enough. I'll go next because I'm not expecting a lot here. I've got one of the Maltster ones here from New Riff, and a bottle is more than halfway gone. So I don't expect a lot going on here, but let's see what we got. Play the game. All base, but not anywhere near enough to kind of take a lead or threaten the lead, anything like that. So Cailee has the lead. Luke, you're next.
So I've got a bottle of Roan's Creek. Opened it a couple of weeks ago. So let's see how we do.
Also pretty good, but not quite as good as Cailee's. Second place, Luke. Not that matters, but that's where you're sitting.
That was good, though.
Yes, just if you're keeping track at home, Luke. If you keep any statistics, I don't know. Evan, you're last but not least.
All right, I've got a bottle of Knob Creek, which unfortunately I didn't make tonight's list, but I think this pick, they come in at 120. Okay. So this is an A1 pick.
Looks like a giant bottle for some reason. Hold it up near. You were so near the camera, I guess the perspective was all up. It just looked huge. Yeah, there you go. All right.
Just whack whack the table after.
Yeah. So there you go. Congratulations, Cailee wins. How about that?
Cailee got that one for sure.
When's the first win there? So there you go. Cheers,
Way to go, Cailee.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to try to determine what is the best bourbon to make an old-fashioned with, according to Uproxx, of course. We'll do that in just a few. Hello, this is Steve Akeley of the ABV Network. Let's talk about the people who make this show happen. First up is Leatherwood Distillery in Pleasant View, Tennessee. Company founder Andy Lang started distilling as a hobby while serving his country as an elite Green Beret. Andy distilled all over the world during his time in the military and brought this passion back to him in the U.S. when he returned home. A visit to Leatherwood combines Andy Lang's unique distilled spirits and a museum of artifacts from his time serving the U.S. Share a drink with a fallen soldier at their bar where you can grab an acrylic bio off the wall that celebrates the individuals who gave the ultimate sacrifice to protect his or her country. They will also ship their distilled spirits directly to you, so check them out at leatherwooddistillery.com. We are also sponsored by Moonshine University. This longtime partner for the ABV Network helps educate individuals looking to get into the distilled spirits business, service industry employees looking to expand their knowledge, and individuals simply wanting to know more about the process and history of the spirits industry. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification at Moonshine University, and it's something I continuously draw upon and connect with fellow graduates. Check out their full listing of classes, including Executive Bourbon Steward Certification, production classes, and more at moonshineuniversity.com. Okay, let's talk about Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent visits to Kentucky. Today, he's leading the way for young distillers making their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery combines family history, a look at what makes their products unique, and of course a tasting through their whiskeys, moonshines, and creams. Check them out at neelyfamilydistillery.com and visit them in Sparta, Kentucky. All right, back to the show.
Saying Bourbon Daily?
Yeah.
Okay, you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
No, your name first.
My name.
You are. Yeah.
Hi, this is Jason Souter.
And?
And you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Perfect.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're going to figure out what the best bourbon is for an old fashioned according to Uproxx.
Yes, we are. So here's what we've got here. The contenders are as follows. Buffalo Trace, and of course we're just talking the regular Buffalo Trace. Woodford Reserve, Old Forester Signature. People don't know what that means. That's their 100 proof. They call that the signature. I said that on a show, and a couple of people were like, what's the signature? So that's the 100 proof. 100 proof. Old Granddad Bonded. Basil Hayden's, Rowan's Creek, which has got there. Luke's got it right now. Wild Turkey Rare Breed and a Barrel Dovetail. So that's going to be the contenders. Here's how they line up. Here's our matchups for this one. Barrel Dovetail will take on Woodford Reserve. Rowan's Creek will take on Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Buffalo Trace takes on Old Granddad Bottle and Bond. And finally, Basil Hayden's takes on the Old Foe Signature. Round one, Barrel Dovetail versus Woodford Reserve. Cailee is up first.
I'm gonna go with Woodford simply because I haven't tried Dovetail before, and I frequently use Woodford in my old fashions.
All right, Woodford goes up 1-0. Evan, what do you think? Barrel Dovetail or Woodford Reserve?
Yeah, so this one almost is like you don't want to use a bottle.
That's
because
pricey.
on this list, Dovetail's the priciest, and it's actually got a lot of great flavor already. So usually, you're picking like what you think is best on this one. I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to go ahead and mix this, I might as well use Woodford. So
yeah,
I'm going to go Woodford.
I don't think your thought process is wrong there. So that's nothing wrong with the way you thought that through. All right, Barrel Dovetail versus Woodford Reserve. Luke, you're next. Woodford's up 2-0.
Yeah, I'm going to give Dovetail a little life just because the price doesn't bother me in using it in cocktail. It's just that it has a lot of flavor profile in it.
It does.
When I
That's
do
good.
an old fashioned, I'm looking for not just the same old type of flavors. I like to try and extract different things because I enjoy an old fashioned most of the time. So I'm going to go with Dovetail.
Yeah. Old fashioned, what I do like about it is one of the few cocktails that I'll actually make it out because it's simple. There's nothing to it. Grind up a sugar cube in the bottom, add some bitters, add some bourbon, and there you go. You're done. Put a twist in there, and you're good to go. All right. Here's where we're at. Beka, you're next. Barrel Dovetail has 1 vote. Woodford Reserve has 2. Now it's up to you.
I'm going to go with Barrel Dovetail as well, actually.
Okay. All right. That means Barrel Dovetail has tied it up after falling behind 2-0. And yeah, in the spirit of the thing, Barrel Dovetail is pricier, but it's not like over the top that, and you can find it. So it's not like it's impossible to find, it's on the shelf. So I'm going to, with that in mind, even taking into account what Evan said, I'm still going to go Barrel Dovetail means it moves on.
Not mad about it.
Yeah. Next up is Rowan's Creek will take on Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Round number 2. Evan, you're first.
Said rare breed, right?
Yes.
I think that's where I'm going. I think that's a good call. It's got a lot of nice proof. That's going to hold up very well. Solid.
Rare Breed. Okay, Rare Breed goes up 1-0. Luke, what do you think? Rare Breed or Rowan's Creek?
Rowan's Creek, at 101 proof, it holds up nicely as well. Either one, that's a tough. This is a
both
tough
good. Yeah.
matchup because
Oh yeah.
Rare Breed is very well structured, and I believe Rowan's Creek is as well. So, but I'm going to go Rowan's Creek.
Rowan's has tied it up. Miss Beka Sue, what do you think? Rowan's Creek or Wild Turkey Rare Breed?
I am going to go with, I think I already know what I'm going to go with. I do really like Rare Breed a whole lot. But I'm going to go with Rowan's Creek on this one.
It's easy to do that, right? It's so easy to go Rowan's Creek. I don't know why.
Rowan's
It leads you into that.
Rowan's Creek.
It leads you into that for some reason. I have to fight it not to say it as I'm going through this. So Rowan's Creek versus Wild Turkey Rare Breed. I'll say this. I like both of these. I'm going to make my old fashioned with Rowan's Creek, and I'm going to do a shooter then, or a sipper next to it of neat of Wild Turkey Rare Breed. That means Rowan's Creek moves on. All right. Next up is Buffalo Trace versus Old Granddad Bottled and Bond. This is an interesting one as well. We've had all tough matchups here. Nothing easy here. Luke, you're first.
Oh man. I love them both. Golly.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Old Granddad.
Old Granddad goes up 1-0. Miss Beka Sue, what do you think?
What are the two in this one?
Buffalo Trace versus Old Granddad Bottled and Bond specifically.
Oh, I'm going Old Granddad, 100%.
Yeah. Boy, this is tough. I do like Buffalo Trace. It's very flavorful bourbon. Old Granddad's got a little bit more oomph though, and I think that's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go Old Granddad, meaning it does move on. Next up is Basil Hayden's versus Old Faux Signature. Round number 4. Miss Beka Sue, you're first.
This one's it's going to be Old Forester for me.
Yeah. To me, this has been the easiest matchup so far.
Yeah, that's so easy.
Old Faux Signature to me is a cocktail bourbon. I mean, it's perfection when it comes to making cocktails. I'm going Old Faux Signature, and it's quickly up 2-0. Cailee, you're next.
I'll send it right on, Steve.
Old Faux Signature moves on. All right. So our finale looks like this. Barrel Dovetail versus Rowan's Creek, and then kind of the new guard versus the old guard here of Old Granddad versus Old Faux Signature. So round number 5, I'm going to be first. Barrel Dovetail versus Rowan's Creek. Both great. I'm going to go Rowan's Creek though. I think Rowan's Creek's the one here. That's what I'm voting for. Cailee, you're next.
All right. I think I'm also going to go Rowan's Creek. I think it's a really good, well-rounded bourbon.
Yep. All right. Next up is Evan. Barrel Dovetail or Rowan's Creek?
I'm kind of going to draw on what Luke mentioned last time about, experimenting a little bit with the flavor profiles you could get out of an old fashioned. I'm kind of interested. I think I would want to make it with Dovetail just to see how that turns out.
Okay. That means Dovetail has life in this game. It goes to you next, Luke. Barrel Dovetail or Rowan's Creek? Rowan's Creek is up 2-1.
Yeah. So I guess I should quantify that. I would do a Dovetail old fashioned, not every time, but I would do it, once in a while. A Rowan's Creek old fashioned, I would do most of the time. So
yeah, that'd be like an every night nightcap.
Yeah, and quite frankly, Steve, I do it what you just described. I'll do it an old fashioned and then have a nice neat pour of something to follow it up. So I'm gonna close it out with Rowan's Creek.
All right, that means Rowan's Creek will be in our finale. It's going to pair against one of these two: Old Granddad Bottled and Bond or Old Faux Signature. Round number 6. Cailee, you're first. This is a titanic battle here. This is. And they're both 100 proof. They're both classics.
Right.
Been around forever. Both really good cocktail bourbons for sure.
Right.
And you can make them neat too.
So if I were to choose between Old Granddad and Old Faux to drink straight, I would probably drink Old Faux straight and put Old Granddad in a cocktail. So I'm going to go with Old Granddad.
That means Old Granddad goes up 1-0. Evan, what do you think? Old Granddad or Old Faux Signature?
Yeah, taking that same string though and saying because I would drink Old Forester straight. It's the reason why I probably don't want to put Old Granddad in my cocktail either. So I'll go with Old Forester for that reason.
Old Forester. So we're tied up 1-1 here in the final round. So Luke, you're next. Old Granddad or Old Faux Signature?
I would like them both, and I've done both in an old fashioned. But if I stick to my reasoning of doing an old fashioned and then finishing up with a nice, neat Glencairn of something, I'd probably do the Old Faux. So I'm going to go with Old Granddad for my old fashioned.
Okay. That means Old Granddad is now up 2-1 over Old Faux Signature. On the verge of closing this one out. What do you think, Miss Beka Sue?
So something interesting. I was on my phone because I was checking out the mash bills of all these. And very immediately we all got rid of ones that had lower rye percentages in their mash bills.
Makes sense.
Very, very quickly, which makes sense.
They get lost in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then for our top four, Old Forester was 18% rye. Rowan's was 17. Old Granddad is 27.
Ooh.
And then Dovetail, it's undisclosed.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for that reason, but kind of for that reason, I'm going with Old Granddad because I love Old Granddad. I think it works great in cocktails. I think it's just a great bourbon in general. And so I'm going to go with Old Granddad.
And Evan, I've lost track of where we're at. Are we tied up here?
I think I just closed it out.
that closed that. Yeah,
That closed it out. Okay.
Yeah.
Lost. Sorry, I got so caught up.
I've managed to choose every loser thus far.
All right.
To the best of us.
We have a heck of a finale here. Rowan's Creek, got to be a surprise. It's not, like one of the top brands across the U.S., but I think we've recognized it for, being a good bourbon here. It's bubbled up from this Uproxx article. Very cool. Versus Old Granddad. That's as classic as you can be right there. So, it's an unbelievable matchup. So here we go. Evan, you're first. Rowan's Creek or Old Granddad?
Yeah, I mean, I just told you how this is going to end up. So however I vote, that one's going to end up losing.
Oh, great.
So here's the problem is, do I now use that to my advantage and vote for the one I think was going to lose? So here, let me tell you, my initial thing was thinking, well, you got rid of all the ones I probably would have put in it for exactly the reasons you guys have described already. But using that, I'm going to go ahead and say Old Granddad.
Old Granddad.
Little strategery here. We'll see how it ends up.
Old Granddad goes up 1-0. Luke, you're next. What do you think? Old Granddad or
I
Rowan's
guess
Creek?
the famous words of Jeremy Shell. I guess that's one way to go. For me, Rowan's Creek is a very consistent bourbon. Becca just pointed out the mash bills, and I do pay attention to that, especially when I'm making an old fashioned. And so consistently, Rowan's Creek has never let me down. And it's a tough match between Old Granddad and Rowan's, but I do love Rowan's. So Rowan's Creek.
That means Rowan's Creek has tied it up. Miss Beka Sue, you're next. Rowan's Creek or Old Granddad?
I'm sticking with my favorite of Old Granddad. I like that high rye in that.
High rye, yeah. You're not wrong with that. So here's where we're at. Old Granddad is up 2-1 over Rowan's Creek. I'm next. And I'll say this. I love the classics. I love making the usual. What is the norm? But maybe in the spirit of this, it's about discovering something new. And how do you ever get past it? We do it this way because we've always done it this way. We got to try some new, different things sometimes. So I'm going to give my vote to Rowan's Creek, meaning it's tied it up. And so here's where we're at. It's 2-2. Rowan's Creek, Old Granddad. It goes to Cailee.
Evan's having a stroke.
Evan's dying here.
Well, I just grabbed a glass of each just to compare and contrast the tasting notes.
Classic.
So,
She's our female Danny. I mean, she's always trying stuff. Okay, this is good. I mean, it's the real way to do it. I mean, ideally, we should always do these things like this. So, yeah.
right?
Okay.
All right. So the finish on Old Granddad, and to me, when I'm drinking an old fashioned, I kind of want a longer finish.
Yes.
The finishing on Old Granddad is pretty long, but here we go with the Rowan's Creek. So
now she's got Rowan's. Okay.
And Rowan's Creek is one of my favorites, just go-tos. Yeah. I'm going to have to send Old Granddad through on this one.
Old Granddad is our champ in a
I just made Evan's day.
heated match. Very
redemption for Evan.
Did it.
Evan.
Voted
I
against it.
Yeah, I had to vote against what I was planning to vote for in order to win, but it worked.
But it worked. Well, there you go. There you go. Old Granddad, ultimately the classic wins out, as probably it should. Old Granddad has been making old fashioned since they've been making old fashioned. So, it's pretty good stuff for sure. But Rowan's Creek, no slouch there. They made it all the way to the finals and ended up with 2 votes. It came down to a tiebreaker, a taste-off even, where Cailee had to try both of them side by side. So there you go. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Cailee, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Come out to Leatherwood Distillery and see me most Friday nights and catch all the fun stuff I'm baking and drinking on the Bourbon Bakers page on Instagram.
There you go. Evan, how about you? Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Evan Van Scoik, or on Instagram, Wit Wisdom Whiskey.
All right. Luke.
You can find me at Luke Otero at Santa Fe Boutique Wines.com or Santa Fe Boutique Wines on Instagram.
There you go. There you go. You've inspired me to do a show coming up. What states, if you owned a distillery, should you get into? And I think New Mexico's got to be way up there. Not normally usual, but because of you, Luke, I would, if I had a brand, it would be one of the early ones I'd want to do because I want you representing it. So I'm going to do a bracket challenge coming up at some point. What states? And you're, after Kentucky, I always think if you've got a bourbon, you want to be in Kentucky, and then of course your home state. But where else do you?
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. All right, Miss Beka Sue, how about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right, great job today, gang. For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
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 Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least, at the top of the show, I mentioned investment opportunities at the new liquor store concept, the ABV Barrel Shop, being launched in 2022 by myself, Jim Fosnot, and Scott Creighton. We are crowdfunding some of the capital needed to open the store. Not only does it offer a return on your investment, but a lifetime of status and benefits at the store. Of course, this investment is a loan and involves a high degree of risk, which may not be suitable for all persons. Prospective investors should carefully evaluate the risk and merits of an investment, should confer with their own legal and financial advisors, and should be able to bear the risk of the loss of their investment before considering the investment described herein. If you would like more information, contact us via the Under Construction website at abvbarrelshop.com and fill out the form.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening, and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.